Hello friends, myself Professor Khemchand Surana. Today we will start the new chapter, that is what antifungal drugs. In that, initially we'll see the introduction of viral infections. So basically what is viral infections we'll see. So what is basic relation between the human, fungi and parasite is that the relationship between these human, fungi and parasite is the basic called as mycotic illness. So whatever the relation between these were called as a mycotic illness. So most fungal infections they were called mycosis basically. So fungal infection were called mycosis. Involves superficial invasion of the skin or mucous membrane of the body orifices. So basically what happened in case of these fungal infections, whatever the superficial invasion of the skin, so skin will be infected, and whatever also the mucous membrane of the body orifices also infected. So these disease can usually be controlled by the local application of the antifungal agents. So whatever this mycotic illness we can call it, or the mycosis we can call it, so this can be controlled or treated by the application of antifungal agents. So there are different kinds of antifungal agents that we have to see. So fungi having a different shapes and sizes. So some are large while other are minute, means some fungi are in large in size and some are in small in size. There are parasitic also and saprophytic cells also. So they differ from the following organism in some important aspects. So whatever the fungi also or parasitics particular organism also, they were differ in particular aspects. So basically algae is there. So algae by lack of photosynthetic ability. So in case of these fungal infections, so some kinds of algae were also involved. So algae are basically lack of photosynthetic ability, means they don't have a photosynthetic ability. So protozoa by the lack of motility. So also protozoa are there. So protozoa they are don't having a motility, means lack of motility. Possession of a chitinous cell wall, they are having a chitinous cell wall, and ease of culture on the simple media. So on simple media there is what ease of culture. So bacteria, one more is what bacteria, that already we have seen. So bacteria are basically greater in size and having certain intracellular structures such as mitochondria and nuclear membranes. So this is what about algae, protozoa and bacteria. They can differ by these kinds of specific aspects. So the major types of mycosis basically, so mycosis means whatever the fungal infection that we called mycosis. So mycosis are having different types, in that superficial is there, cutaneous is there, subcutaneous, systemic and opportunistic. So these are what the 5 basic types of mycosis. So symptoms of these basic mycosis vary from the cosmetic to the life threatening. So this is what the different kinds of symptoms were seen in case of these types of mycosis. So you can see the pictorial, this picture showing the infection on onto the skin. So the fungal infection also called as a mycosis. You can see the red lesions, the loss of skin pigment, that is what the fungal infection, or we can also call the mycosis. So further we'll discuss the antifungal agents. So basically antifungal agents are the drugs which are used in the treatment of mycosis and fungal infections. So these fungal agents were classified onto the different bases. So initially we'll see the classification of antifungal agents on the basis of their chemical structure, mechanism of action and sources. So on the basis of this chemical structure, so these antifungal agents were classified into the first major class, that is what antibiotics. Antibiotics in that examples are amphotericin B, nystatin and griseofulvin. So these are what 3 major antibiotics. These are polyene antibiotics which are useful into the antifungal category. Then azoles again subdivided into imidazole and triazoles derivatives. Now third one is fluorinated pyrimidines. Fluorinated pyrimidines example is flucytosine. So that is what the one of the best drug which is useful into the treatment of antifungal. Then chitin synthetase inhibitors. In that example is nicomycin Z. Then peptides and proteins, example is cis-pentacin. Then in case miscellaneous, so cyclopirox, tolnaftate, naftitifin and terbinafine. So these are what all the examples of antifungal agents on the basis of their chemical structure, mode of action and sources. So this is what the first classification. So now further we'll discuss the classification of antifungal agents on the basis of routes of administration. So on the basis of this route of administration, these antifungal agent divided into two major classes. The first one is drugs for subcutaneous and systemic mycosis, and second one is drugs for superficial mycosis. So the first category, that is what, drugs for subcutaneous and systemic mycosis. In that example is amphotericin B, fluconazole, flucytosine, itraconazole and ketoconazole. So these are examples of drugs which will use for subcutaneous or systemic mycosis. Now second category is drugs for superficial mycosis. In that example, cotrimazole, iconazole, griseofulvin, miconazole and nystatin. So these are the examples which will use for the treatment of superficial mycosis. So this is what the classification. Now we'll see the different sites of action of some antifungal agents. So basically the cell cytoplasmic membrane shown into that typical figure, this is what the cell wall of the fungus. Because the ergosterol is not a component of mammalian membrane, significant selective toxicity is achieved with these azoles or the azoles antifungal drugs. So basically what is a difference between the mammalian cell wall and the fungus cell wall is that, so mammalian cell is don't have the ergosterol, or they don't have the process of ergosterol biosynthesis. But in case of the fungus or the fungal cells, there is what, biosynthesis of the ergosterol is there. So this is what we can differentiate the fungus cells and the human or the mammalian cells. So by these particular difference, whatever the antifungal agents were selectively shows their toxicity towards the fungal cells only. So here you can see the different antifungal agents where shows their mechanism of action through different sites. So cell cytoplasmic membrane of the fungus is given over here. So initially the polyenes. So polyenes, in the classification of antifungal agents, the polyene antibiotics were included. So these polyene antibiotics were from the artificial pore, and because of that, so whatever the intracellular content of the fungus will loses to the extracellular way. That's why there is what, destruction of the cell wall will be there. So this is what the first polyenes. Then caspofungin inhibit the cell wall synthesis. Caspofungin, these are also the antifungal agents. So they will inhibit the cell wall synthesis. Then further there is pathway of ergosterol synthesis in case of fungus cells, from squalene to lanestrol, lanestrol to ergosterol. So there is conversion of squalene to lanestrol will blocked by the terbinafine drugs, and conversion of lanestrol to the ergosterol by the azoles. So these azoles and terbinafine will act on these ergosterol biosynthesis pathway. So further there is what, precursors means synthesis of nucleic acid through purine and pyrimidine bases through precursors. So this synthesis will block by the flucytosine. And microtubule inhibition. so which will disrupted by the griseofulvin antibiotics. So these are what different antifungal agent shows their mechanism of action. Further, here one more diagram is given, shows the mechanism of action of different antifungal agents. So already we have discussed flucytosine where interfere with protein synthesis, means nucleic acid synthesis. Then imidazole where interfere with the ergosterol synthesis, clotrimazole, ketoconazole, turconazole, terbinafine. These are what different drugs. Then polyene antibiotics, in that amphotericin B is there. So amphotericin B will IVally administer, and which is used for systemic infection. It binds to ergosterol in the cell wall, causing leakage of material. Then amphotericin B is toxic to the renal tubules. Nystatin is an ointment for oral candidiasis. Then natamycin is basically given topically and used for the eye infections. So these are what different polyenes. Then one more triazole is there in case from the category of azoles. So triazoles also interfere with the ergosterol synthesis. So example in this triazole is itraconazole, fluconazole, oriconazole and posaconazole. Then further griseofulvin. So griseofulvin basically binds to keratin precursor, making cells resistance to the fungal invasion. Then candins where inhibit the glucan in the fungal cell wall. Then other in case of others, the tolnaftate where there hydroxystyl whatever the hydroxystyl vanadine, then potassium iodide, sulfonamides, penicillin and undecyllic acids. So these are what the different drugs, they were showing their mechanism of action into the fungus cell. So further today we will start with the antifungal antibiotics. In that polyene antibiotics were basically used, already we have seen into the mode of action. So in case of these polyene antibiotics, so first major drug is amphotericin B. You can see the structure of amphotericin B, quite complex structure, but need to remember these. So these amphotericin B is obtained from basically Streptomyces nodosus. So Streptomyces nodosus is the species from that these amphotericin B is obtained, which is what amphoteric in nature. So these basic structure of amphotericin B having three different parts. So one major is lactone ring. So this amphotericin B structure having a lactone ring, you can see the cyclic structure, that is what lactone ring. Then lipophilic part is there, this is what alternative unsaturated bond, you can see this, these are what lipophilic part of this amphotericin B. Then hydrophilic part is there, where the hydroxyl group were substituted, you can see. So these three different kinds of fragments were involved in this amphotericin B. In that hydrophilic part is there, lactone ring is there and lipophilic part is there. So now the mode of action of this amphotericin B, basically how it will work. So this amphotericin B will interact with the hydrophobically with the ergosterol in the fungal cell membrane, forming a pore. Already we have seen there is what fungal whatever the fungal cell having a ergosterol biosynthesis pathway. So this amphotericin B where hydrophobically interact with these ergosterol, and because of this they were form the pore between these fungal cell. So once a pore has been formed, whatever the potassium and other small molecules are lost through the pore and causing a cell death, they will causes the cell death. Because once a pore has been formed, whatever the intracellular ions or the potassium or the small molecules were there, they were lost from the intracellular to the extracellular, that's why the cell death of the fungus will occur. So by this way whatever the amphotericin B will act. So again here in simple way the mode of action has been given. So amphotericin will bind to the ergosterol in fungal cell membrane. After binding to fungal cell membrane, forms a pore in the cell membrane and cell contain leak out because of cell content leaking out, the cell death will be occur. So this is what mode of action of amphotericin B. So further, the anti-fungal spectrum of these amphotericin B is they were useful up to the Aspergillus species, blastomyces dermatitis, then Candida albicans, Cryptococcus neoformans, then Coccidioides immitis, then Histoplasm capsulatum, and different mucor species. Also, these amphotericin B useful against the leishmaniasis also, and they are having a broadest spectrum of antifungal action, and they will act as a fungicidal at higher doses, and at lower doses they were shows their fungistatic action. Means these antifungal means amphotericin B where shows fungicidal as well as fungistatic action. So this is what the antifungal spectrum of this amphotericin B. Now further, the adverse events or the adverse effect of this amphotericin B is, so in acute case, the chills, fever, headache, pain all over, then nausea, vomiting, dyspnea lasting 2 to 5 hours because of release of interleukin and TNF alpha. So these are what the acute reactions of these amphotericin B, and this can be treated with the hydrocortisone up to 0.6 mg per kg. And in long term toxicity, they will causes the nephrotoxicity, azotemia, hypokalemia, acidosis, decrease in GFR, and anemia. So these are what the long term toxicities. So in case of also CNS, they were toxic. So intrathecal administration, they were causes the headache, vomiting, nerve palsies. So this is what the about the CNS toxicity. Also they are showing the hepatotoxicity rarely. So these are what all the side effects of amphotericin B. Now the further drugs from these Pauline antibiotics we'll see into the next session. Till that, thank you and happy learning.